Like many model railway enthusiasts, I own a test track, and here it is. And it's very useful. But is a rolling road the better way to go? Let's look at the pros and cons of both. Well, in our comparison, let's start with the very obvious size. The rolling road measures 400mm long. It is available in a 300mm long variant, but I wanted one that would encompass all items of locomotive power, including diesel engines and steam engines with tenders and pickups. It's 50mm wide, not very large at all. Let's compare that to my test track, which, although very useful, is somewhat cumbersome. Front to back, or back to front even, it's 190mm long. And lengthwise, it's 1000mm long, 1 metre. So size is a factor, as my wife often tells me. Having considered size and the obvious differences, it's clear that one is more portable than another. But is that where the story ends? No, not really. Let's explore further. Now, before we go any further, if you're looking at this rolling road and thinking, that all looks rather jolly good, I'd like one, I'm very grateful to Mark at Horns Whistles Workshop, and I'll leave a link to his eBay shop in the description for this video. Once again, I must stress, absolutely nothing in it for me. I did purchase this item from his business at full retail cost. I'm simply here to provide an honest review and a comparison to my standard test track. Now, let's be clear that both systems have pros and cons. And before we look at the negatives, I think it's important to look at the positives. So let's examine the rolling road and my test track and see where the advantages lie. Firstly, let's start with the rolling road. Clearly, it's more portable, very lightweight. That would fit, quite easily into a toolbox if you have such a thing, and it's easily move around to other locations should you wish to help friends with their trains, their locomotives, etc., or indeed your local club. Having purchased this longer version from Horns and Whistles Workshop, I'm immediately ready to go with locomotives of any size, as I said in the introduction, including steam locos that have tenders with pickups on them, and that's definitely an advantage as well. Comparing that then to my test track, where do my advantages lie? Well, firstly, I've got two different gauges on my test track. I've got double O gauge in the background, on which the Class 73 is sitting, and I've also got N gauge in the foreground. So I can test two different scales of locomotive quite easily. That's not to say that Horns and Whistles Workshop don't offer variations. I think Mark offers this in double O gauge, which this one is, and also in O gauge. I'm not sure if he offers in N gauge. You'll have to contact him, maybe he's thinking about it. But there is a clear advantage to my test track. And the other thing, of course, is that with my test track, I use this for other items as well, i.e. testing of scenery or ballasting, different techniques and products before I go to my main layout. Clearly, you can't really do that with this one. But that's not to say it's a great product. It really is useful. Both Mark's product and my test track offer the ability to test DC and DCC rolling stock, and that's wonderful. But there's no doubt about it, where the rolling road really comes into its own is when you want to program CV settings if you're a DCC guy, because doing it on a test track can be done, but it's so much easier if that loco stays in one place and you can visually then view the results of the changes that you've made. And there's no doubt about it, that really is a huge advantage to the rolling road system, whichever product you go for along those lines. In terms of cons, negatives, well, as I've said, Uh, the rolling road, one scale only. It's a one-shot deal, and that's absolutely fine if you only model in one scale. I'm actually rather lucky in that I've got an N gauge and a double O gauge layout, so I need different scales, and hence the development of my test track. But what else is wrong? Well, clearly portability for me is an issue. This isn't particularly heavy, but it is a little bit cumbersome, my test track, and it doesn't fit into a toolbox. There's no getting away from it. Whereas with a rolling road, you're ready to go at any time. It is most definitely worth spending a moment to look at connectivity. So first, let's look at the rolling road. And on this product from Horns and Whistles Workshop, you get almost 2 foot of cable, banana clips at one end, and right at the other end, crocodile clips to attach to your power source. I'm not saying that's the same for all rolling roads, but as this is the only one that I own, that's the way it is with this product. And on this rolling road, you simply insert your banana clips. There are sockets at each end, and it doesn't matter which end you choose, or indeed polarity. Following the wiring through then to our power source, we've just connected the crocodile clips to that power source. And when we apply some power, we get some life on our locomotive. And there we go. Very easy. And as I said, it doesn't matter about polarity. And although the lights facing you at the moment are white, on the actual loco they're red. That I think is an issue with filming. But there we go. And you can see this loco now running away, ready to be tested fully. Absolutely brilliant. Dead easy to do. Connectivity is equally easy to achieve on my test track. You can see here I've got 2 sets of droppers. They of course correspond to the double O gauge and N gauge tracks, and I simply hook those up to my power supply as well. And on the ends of these I've just put some of these little open spade connectors because they fit easily on the terminals of my lovely old H&M Duet. So let's see my system in play with the same single car DMU. Once again, polarity doesn't matter. So here we are then with my DMU set to run this 1 metre length along my test track. So there we go then, away it goes and smashing into the buffers. And that's the nearest I can get on my test track to a rolling road. Well, I hope you found this one useful. A direct comparison. Maybe you ought to try both if you're lucky enough. And let's face it, at the end of the day, it doesn't cost a lot to build a small baseboard with a couple of different scales of track on it. Take care. We'll see you next time on St Blazey Model World. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.